Hey guys, what's going on? It's Athena Amoeba here, and coming at you with the weekly tarot reading and the monthly tarot reading for October, which I am extremely excited about because October is my favorite month of the whole year. I know it's a little cliche, but it's just the funnest month, and Halloween is the funnest holiday in my opinion, even though it's not an official holiday. It's super fun. So let's get into this reading. I did miss the tarot reading from last week. It was the first reading that I had missed for a couple of months, but I will tell you that I did the monthly reading for September, so hopefully that made up for missing that week. And it's funny, I kind of feel like for September we got the Tower, right? Which is like we're going to be shown what needs to crumble in our life. We're going to have to watch things fall apart around us, and like I very much have felt that both on like a societal level and on a personal level, but it's also like in a good way. Like things that are no longer serving me are falling away, and it's creating more space for things that do serve me and that do like make my life better. So I was reflecting on that this last week because we didn't have a reading. So that being said, let's get right into it. Let's do this week and then let's do the month of October. So what cards do we have for this week? Okay. Wow. Well, guys. The underlying theme is that we need a shift in perspective. And this is the Hanged Man or the Hanging Man. Basically what this means is like things that we're holding on super tightly to, we need to let go of, in the sense that like once we let go of what we're holding on so tightly to, we become free. And that freedom allows us to have a new perspective and see things and see the world in a whole different light, which basically changes our world. So you can change your world just from changing your perspective. So that's really what's needed here. That being said, this week we have the Seven of Swords, which is, not one of my favorite cards. It represents betrayal. It represents, people trying to cheat you, people trying to like backstab you in some sort of way. But it also could represent you cheating yourself. Like, what are the ways in which you cheat yourself? What are the ways in which you might cut corners in your life? How are you basically self-sabotaging, stabbing yourself in the back? So either keep a lookout for other people doing this to you, or how are you negatively impacting your own life? One of these two things. Reflect on that this week. If you find that you are in a position where you're just like self-sabotaging, messing yourself up, cutting corners, not giving your best, but then expecting like huge rewards in return, right? Like let's say you really, really want something, or you say you want something, you believe you want something, but then it's like, okay, but like what are you doing to get it? What are you doing to get it? Are you really giving your best? Are you really giving your all? And if the answer is no, then you need to evaluate that and start giving your all, because you can't expect to gain the world or gain what you want when you're not putting in what it takes to get that, right? Cutting corners, cheating yourself. That being said, also, like I said, initially, do pay attention to anybody who doesn't have your best interest in mind. Really, really start paying attention to that, and know that that needs to come to an end. So either the ways in which you're cheating yourself or self-sabotaging needs to come to an end, or whoever is in your environment who doesn't have your best interest in mind, who's really just keeping you around for selfish reasons, really evaluate that, and this is the 10 of Swords, and I know it looks scary, like this guy's like face down with like 10 swords in his back. It's a scary card, but it symbolizes the end of an extremely painful period. So this week, something that has been very painful for you will have to come to an end in some way, in some shape, in some form. It doesn't necessarily mean, like, let's say, for example, that, like, you've been having a rough situation with your job at work. It doesn't mean you have to leave your job. It just means that whatever thing was hurting you at your job, whatever has been causing you pain and stress, will have to come to an end in some sort of way. Now that requires having a shift in perspective and letting go of something. So interestingly enough, what I'm seeing here is this pain that is occurring, even if it's inflicted by somebody else, like even if like the source of our pain is coming from another person or an external source, the solution isn't going to come from an external place. It's going to come from us. Like the end of it needs to come from you. And that requires you to have a different perspective and perhaps to take action as well. But before you can take action, before you can, you know, make a change, make a shift, there has to be a mental shift first, if that makes any sense. So this week, yeah, really reflect on like, what do you need to let go of? What's holding you back? What new perspective do you need to have? What are the people, situations, thoughts? Because swords represents mind as well. So this can just be your own mind sabotaging you with negative thoughts and poisoning yourself with negative thoughts. So, you know, in what ways are you being held back by other people, by yourself, by your mind, by your bad behavior, your habits, from your entitlement, expecting a lot for nothing? And what needs to come to an end this week? You know, what can you bring to an end by reflecting and gaining a new perspective? So that is the message of the week. And I'm going to pull a magical oracle card for the week as well. So let's see what that says. Study. Interesting. And this is really interesting because our reading of the week was very sword heavy. And this is all about knowledge and the mind and, you know, logic and communication. And then we have study. So what I'm taking this to mean is like, with this card, well, first of all, with the shift in perspective, you need to self-reflect. Like, what changes do you need to make? What perspective needs to change? Study, reflect on that, self-study, be self-aware. Be self-aware what's going on with you, what needs to change with you. Like, before you really know what needs to change, you need to study what is and what's not working. And, you know, in this sense, it's like, same thing, self-reflect, study. In what ways are other people, you know, not having your best interest in mind, or in what ways are you not having your own best interests in mind? What ways are you cheating yourself, sabotaging yourself, trying to, like, you know, cheat? I don't want to say cheat the system, but it's like I said, like, if you want something, are you really putting in the work to get it? If not, study. What do you need to do? What do you need to get better at? You know, everything's a practice. Everything can be broken down to like a science pretty much. So what do you need to study to get to where you want to be, and to let go of what's been hurting you and what's been holding you back? So study away this week, because that can help to change your mind, change your perspective, and therefore change your life. So that's the message of the week. So let's get into the reading for October. A very short reflection for October 2019. Woo! I went on a ghost tour last night. It was so fun, honestly, but it kind of, when I first started reading tarot cards, I was very involved in like speaking to spirits and stuff like that. I don't do that anymore. But because I went on a ghost tour last night, I'm sort of like feeling like, oh my gosh, are like spirits involved in my reading right now? So anyways, ooh, okay, hey, I'm not mad at you, October. Let's take a look at these other cards here. Oh, wow, just coming. Oh no. Okay, why is this one upside down? That's interesting. These two are upside down. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna pull a magic card for October just to see like where. Okay, trust. The card, the magical oracle card that we got for October is trust. This month, what we need to do above all else is trust. Trust yourself. Trust the process. Trust the people in your life. Just trust. Especially trust source energy, the universe, God, whatever you want to think of it. Just trust that things are, you know, they're bigger than you. So just trust that things are going the way that they're going for a reason. Like, just, you have to trust that, because if you fight it, if you resist every step along the way, you're just blocking things from coming into your existence and coming into your life and coming into your reality. So in order to be more open, you just have to trust and you have to let go, right? Kind of that message of like, just let go of what you're holding on too tightly to. And in the month of October, this is a time to build a solid foundation for your life, for something really big. So interestingly enough, we have the Tower again, which we had in September. So it's still very much that Tower energy. Something's coming to an end here. I feel like this energy might carry out through the end of the year, but we'll see next month. But we had it September, now it's here in October again, the Tower. So what's funny to me is like the Tower is the crumbling of things that have built on faulty foundations. So what's important to remember here is like, you don't have to be a victim of your circumstances. You don't have to be a victim of the things that might be falling apart around you or aren't working around you. You can continue to build as things fall apart. You know what I mean? So if you do notice like things just aren't working the way that you want them to, if you notice like, you know, things, you know, if you feel like things really are falling apart, you still can build a foundation, you know, start building a foundation for a better tower. So you have this tower in your life, it's falling apart, it's crumbling, it's falling to pieces. You don't have to wait until this tower totally crumbles before you start building another one. You know what I mean? Multiple towers, build all the towers in your life. But what's most important for your towers is the foundation. What is your tower built on? Now that's really important for you to reflect on in this month of October. Now the tower is going to be different for each of us, right? And we all have different towers. Towers are basically just the pillars in your life, the things that make up your life. So like we've got beliefs, belief systems, those are our towers. Ways of seeing the world or perspectives, those are towers. Relationships, each relationship is a tower. The way that we interact with people in general and show up in relationships, like the way that what we bring to relationships, that's a tower. Our work is a tower. Like literally everything is a tower. So you can start building foundations for any new tower, you know, and that just means priming yourself, preparing yourself. You are your foundation for everything that is happening in your life. If you feel like there's issues with things going on in your life, take a look at yourself. What foundation have you set? What foundation have you laid down that has allowed these towers to be built? You know, do you subconsciously believe that you don't deserve good things? And is that allowing chaos to manifest in your life? You know, what's going on with you? Reflect on that and then put in the work to build solid foundations. Now, here's the thing. This is talking about building a foundation. You're not going to have a whole new tower at the end of October, but it's important. It's like that saying, it's like every day, focus on laying one brick perfectly. And before you know it, you'll have laid a perfect, you know, I think it's wall, but like walls just have such a negative connotation for me now. But, you know, you can build a tower, a beautiful tower over time that is stable, and looks beautiful and is functional and is everything you need it to be if every day you focus on laying one brick perfectly. So don't focus on the tower. If you're focusing on the tower, you're gonna have a shit foundation probably, you know? Focus on laying the brick perfectly each day and focus on building your foundation for your life, for your future, for yourself. That's important in October. Other cards we got for October are really interesting to me, especially because we have two reversed. So first we have the World reversed, which I love the World. The World basically means it's time to start a new chapter in your life. Like, you've learned all the lessons, you've, you know, gained all the experience, and now it's time to start, not start over, obviously not start over, but now it's time to start something new based on all the experience you have. So, like, a good example of this that I could give is, like, okay, like, simple example. You went to school, you graduated, you have all this experience now, like, you're at the top of your game when it comes to school because you're graduated, right? Like, that's the ultimate level. But now you're a beginner when you go out into the world and are looking for a job, right? You're not an expert in your field, you're a newbie, even though you're like an expert in your class, if that makes any sense. So that's like an example. It's like, you've gained all this knowledge, you've gained all this experience, you're ready for the next step, in which it kind of starts at square one, but like on the next step. It's like, okay, here's another good example. It's like various flights of stairs. The World represents the first step on the second flight of stairs. Does that make sense? So it's like you're on the next level, but it's like you're ready to start on the first step of the next level. That's what the World represents. But because it's upside down, it's saying, oh, you're not quite ready to move on yet. You're not quite ready for that next step. You've still got a lot to learn. So again, I think what this is saying is focus on your foundation. Focus on being present now. Focus on learning now. Focus on trusting now. Focus on being the best version of yourself and doing what it takes to make you ready for the next level, right? Like, you might feel like you're ready, like, I'm ready. When is this thing coming to me? I'm ready. And then the universe is like, but are you though? Are you really? Like, I feel like this might be a faulty foundation built on faulty beliefs. And you need to work on your foundation, and you need to, you know, gain more experience, gain more knowledge, and, you know, still collect, you still need to prepare yourself for the next chapter. You're not quite there yet, but soon we will be. That being said, we also have the Nine of Cups, which I love this card as well, but it's upside down, which makes me sad, but it's gonna be okay. What this is saying to me, very much in line with the world being upside down, our wish is not going to be granted this month. Whatever it is that you're hoping for, whatever it is that you're wanting, not going to be granted. But that's okay, because you're not ready yet. When you're ready, it will come. When you've built this solid foundation, it will come. It will be there for you. But you still need to build the foundation. Until then, the thing that you're hoping for, it's not going to manifest this month. I mean, I'm not, you know, this is a very general reading. So some of you out there may get your wishes granted, you know. This isn't an end-all be-all. But for the most part, the general vibe is like, it's not that you're getting rejected from what you want, or it's not that you can't have what you want. It's just like, not right now. It's not a rejection as much as it is a delay. But what you also need to reflect on is this thing that you want, this thing that you say that you want, or you believe that you want with your heart. Do you really? Like, why do you want it? I think that's what needs to be searched here, because that's part of your foundation. Part of your foundation is your understanding of why you do things. why you want things, right? Like sometimes we just want somebody to love us. Sometimes, you know, you just want somebody to like love you, for example. But when they don't, and it hurts, then you really ask yourself why. It might be, you know, because you crave validation. So it's not even about that person specifically. It's just you crave validation, and them not showing you love makes you question yourself and makes you feel the opposite of validated, which is like rejection and invalidated and all these things, right? Same with like what, you know, certain career paths. Like if you have a goal, why is it your goal? Why do you really want it? You know, you could say that you want it for X, Y, and Z reason, but what's the real reason? And it doesn't mean that like your reasons are bad. It's just understanding your reasons can help you kind of reframe your goals, because sometimes we keep chasing something because we've said we've wanted it for so long. And after a certain point, it's like, wait, do I even really want this? You know? And if you ask yourself, why do I want this? It helps you, you know, it helps you evaluate if it's still an applicable goal. And if it's not, that's okay. It's okay to reevaluate your goals. It's okay to change your goals. It's actually good, you know, because if we keep chasing goals blindly, without evaluating why are we still chasing them, you know, sometimes we can get very, very lost. So that being said, just evaluate the things that you want that you feel aren't coming to you this month. Ask yourself, do I really want this? Why do I want this? And if you find that your reasons are not so pure, ask yourself if you still really want it, or what else could you do instead or want instead that could more easily fulfill that need that you have that's behind the desire. Or if you do find that your motivation is pure, connect with that reason again, because sometimes, like for example, like with me even making YouTube videos, right? Like sometimes I get caught up in the fact that I have like less than 300 subscribers. Although it's continuing to grow, and I thank each and every single one of you for subscribing. You all are the best and you're amazing. Thank you so much. But sometimes I get hung up on like, wow, like there's people out there with like 100 million subscribers, PewDiePie. And there's people out there like doing mukbangs who have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and like all they do is eat on camera, right? And I'm like, oh my god, like why do I even do this? Why do I even do this? Because I'm getting caught up on the wrong part, right? And I'm getting caught up on like notoriety and fame, which is not why I started making YouTube videos. Like it's not. And I've had to evaluate that for myself recently, which I'll talk about in another video. But I'm going to continue to make YouTube videos regardless of how many subscribers I have, because I've had that talk with myself, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Am I doing this to gain subscribers? Am I doing this to be YouTube famous? Ultimately, no. So it's okay. I can keep doing this with however many subscribers I have, and it's not going to affect me. But if you don't stop to evaluate, right, like it was getting to me. And then I was like, why am I doing this? And when you come to your answers and when you come to your conclusions, it helps you. For another example that's kind of opposite, music. Music was a huge part of my life for so long. And for a long time, I wanted to come back to music and set goals with music again. And then I had to stop and ask myself, why? Why? Do I really want this? And the answer was no. And I still like music, and I still want to play it, but for fun. I don't want to necessarily like be known for making music or anything like that. So I can continue to make it, but just for fun. And that was a goal I had to let go of, was to, you know, be some sort of famous musician or something, which was what I had a long time ago. 10 years ago, that was like my main thing. That was my goal. And now it's just not. I don't even want that anymore. And because I don't even play music anymore. Like I don't have the desire to play like I used to. So point is, it's okay to evaluate your goals and to let go of ones that no longer reflect who you are, or that are holding you back from like enjoying and living your life, you know? So that being said, if what you're wanting doesn't seem to be coming to you this month, evaluate, do you really want it? Why? And if so, what do you need to do to really take it to that next level? What do you need to do to prepare? The final card we have for October is the Wheel of Fortune upright. Now, the message with this one actually goes very well with the Trust card that we got, because this card is representing that, you know, you don't have control over everything. There's a lot of things that you can't control in your life, but what you should focus on is where you do have power, where you do have control. You can't control if your wishes are being granted necessarily. You can't control if, you know, what you want, that next chapter just doesn't seem to be there for you, that you're not ready for that next chapter. But you can put in the work to become ready. You can evaluate your goals and be smart about them. And you can trust the universe, and you can put your focus into building a foundation to have what you want in the future. Like, maybe it's just not here for you right now because you're not actually ready. You don't have the experience, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have whatever. Even if you think you do, clearly you don't, because if you did, it would be here already, you know? So you still need to work on building that foundation. What is it that you still need to work on, that you still need to build? Focus on that, because that's the only place you have power. It's the only thing you can control, is where you're going to put your focus. And put your focus this month on building solid foundations so that in the future, the towers that you build, they don't have to crumble, you know? I mean, everything crumbles eventually, even good towers. Like, just because your tower is crumbling, I just want to say this too, actually. Just because any towers in your life might be crumbling doesn't mean that they were never good. That they didn't serve you at the time, you know? I mean, some towers are just straight up bad, like our limiting beliefs, you know, negative thoughts about ourselves, or negative perspectives on life. I mean, those don't really serve a purpose for the most part. But, you know, like, for example, like relationships or jobs, like sometimes they're good for a while. They serve their purpose, and then they fall apart. And it doesn't mean that they were bad. It just means the time has come. It's time to build a new tower, you know? And that's okay too. So that's a lot. That's a lot to take in for the month of October. But basically, Cliff Notes are focus on building a solid foundation, focus on working on yourself, focus on doing the things that it will take to have what you want in the future. Trust the process, trust yourself, trust the time that it takes, right? Because it's not going to be overnight. Let go of anything that doesn't serve you anymore. Build those foundations so you can build stronger towers in the future. If you're not ready for that next chapter yet, if those things that you want aren't coming true yet, just know, put your focus where your power is. Focus on what you can control. Build those foundations, and soon enough you will be ready for the next chapter and to receive your true desires and your true wishes. Okay? So, that is the reading for October 2019. I am sending all of you so much love, and I'll see you in another video very, very soon.